Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, July 21st. We are looking at Window Trader's market profile of SPY IWMN triple Qs, and the bulls continue what they've been doing. As the market attempted early today to push down, stopped the one-time framing in the daily, they failed. Didn't even really get that close to the day's low or the 50-day moving average, only to consolidate only for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours before they took out yesterday's high and start attempting to push higher. We attempted to have a trend day. It was taken back. However, we do go out with a price probe as we rip higher in L and M. Russell couldn't take out yesterday's high to the last 10 minutes of the day, and then they go, parabolic, boom, see ya. They rip up. They leave about $1 left of their large gap. SPY leaves $2.60 of their large gap from the 10th of June, which means ES only leaves a little bit over $1, about $1.10. So I fully expect those gaps to fill. Q's had already done that. Q's next target is around the 312 level and then the 314 level on that weekly high and monthly high. So the market is acting pretty good here. We talk about balances. Well, we all got through our balance high on the weekly and have not looked back, basically. We blew through them, right? That's the third scenario of balance rules. So pretty impressive. Excellent range again, $7.21, but the volume stinks. 60 million shares. Once again, we have not done 100 million shares yet this month. The last bunch of days, we've made new highs on the month. We still have an inside month. We'll see how we end. I want to correct something when we go over the charts about the things we were talking about. Somebody pointed out in my room, which was excellent to point out. I had a good day today. A lot of small trades throughout the day. A period, I made money on a 395 put play against the opening when we had gotten back to it at one point when it backed off. Then I took a long in B period, thinking we were going to pop A's high on the 395 calls. We did that. We got back to value low, then I took a long against it. It got below it. Value low from yesterday, this was. Took it off for a small loss. And then I shorted B against the opener when it pushed back up. 394s, which worked out. C, took a short. We had single prints. I thought I didn't think we'd hold single prints, but once they filled, I wanted to see what happened towards the opening. Took that off for a small loss. So I wasn't holding on to anything today, to take big losses at all. So those are my only two losses in B and C. And then had a good string of longs. E period. Wait, timeout. I took one more short in that E because there was no tempo above the day's high, which paid when it pulled back, 395s. Then I long G period against the single prints, 396s, that worked. I longed H. I'm trying to think. I did that. Actually, I think that I did that prior to it taking out G's low and made money on that. I did miss a long in I. I fell asleep at the switch. So H came down, started filling singles. I opened. We got a real quick flush. Man, it would have been a beautiful long against a single print fill in A and B's high. I didn't get it. I did have a couple of other opportunities in I, but I didn't take it because after that first flush and went back up, I'm like, maybe they'll try to push a little low. It didn't happen. And then I took an L, short in L period when we weren't getting much back at H's high, and it paid me small before M period started. So it was a decent day. Everything small. It was really lulled me to sleep, basically. If you took out I's low at the time, and before we really ran in L and M, we only had a bit of a $1.50 range or so that just sat there. So it kind of lulled me to sleep. I'm not surprised we price probed. I'm a little surprised at the distance we got. But again, it was a good day, and tomorrow I would expect to go fill the gap from June 10th. As far as destinations, upside 398.84 daily high, filling the gap at 401.44, 260-point gap from June 10th. 404.48, price probe from June 19th, and now please write these down. 404 single prints, 404.66 to 406.59 from June 9th. That's a large set, just under $2. Then 406.71 single prints to 407.88. That's rather large too from June 9th. And then 409.20, 10 wide from June 9th. For the downside, we have L's high, the price probe, 397.97. Afternoon pullback low and high of 395.65. And today's low of 391.63. And then on the charts, so first here's the weekly for us. Tomorrow I'll recap all three of these indices charts. We did get back and forth today in the first couple of time frames through the balance high. And then finally when we got through it after an E period, never looked back as we blew just above it and just ripped higher. So we're up on the weekly. Now the daily is up. Now couple of quick things. This is the first time since March that we've one time framed up 5 days in a row. We had one stretch from March 15th through March 22nd that had 6. So we're 1 day away from tying the most days one time framing up for the year. And then after we went into balance, we then one time framed up 4 days in a row after that. So this is the second longest stretch of one time framing up on the daily this year. That kind of kept me, we've been talking about the lower highs. And after looking at this stretch of one time framing, that's why I said 417.44. However, somebody in my room pointed out, well, what about that 393.16 balance high? You could have used that as a lower high. And when you look at the weekly, he's absolutely right. The progression of weekly highs. This one, the 362.07, the 350.01, and then the 417.44, and then the 393.16. So we really have stopped the lower highs on the weekly and on the daily if we use that. So that's very, very interesting. I'm glad that he pointed it out. And that's what's great about my room. So for now, it looks like we have stopped those lower highs and lower lows, right? If you look at the daily lows, all the new lows throughout the year, well, if we're using that high from the balance high, well, then July 14th's low of 371.04, remember that got very close to our balance low and held. That low right now would be a higher low from the yearly low. So again, I'm going to pose the question. There is a lot happening next week with the major tech earnings and the Fed. If the market digests whatever comes out next week by next Thursday and Friday's close, and we hold, again then, if you want to use 393.16, that high, and certainly that 371.04 low is a higher low now. If the market digests and holds up here, we are certainly going to go see that 417.44 high to stop the one-time framing on the monthly and come into balance on the monthly. And then we have to pose the question, have we put in lows either for the year, at least for the near term? So I think we're going to have really good MGI by the end of next Thursday's close and or Friday. Thanks for the likes and subscribing. Enjoy your evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.